It's been said the World Series of Poker is not a sprint, but a marathon.
If you're not well rested, you're just going to make mistakes, and all it takes is one really bad mistake, and that's your main event.
Players all in.
Halfway through day 3 of the 2011 main event, players are falling short of the finish line.
Oh my God!
Maybe the most brutal day in a poker player's year is the day we get knocked out of the main event.
You have to protect your stack. You only have one stack.
I don't know what to do with it. It's only 50,000 I got.
While they brace themselves at every turn.
Okay, this time I'm gonna lay this down. I won't lay it down again. This is a big tournament here.
The marathon continues now. Welcome back to the 2011 World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Tonight, the field continues to shrink as day 3 wraps up. Daryl Jace has made an impressive move onto the leaderboard.
He should have shaved for the main event, but hey, it's his life.
Patrick Antonius started well, but has cooled off.
Even when he cools off, he is hot.
Former Player of the Year Eric Lindgren has an average-sized stack.
He's never cashed in the main event. I don't think he's capable.
Former chip leader Ben Lamb has not been able to keep pace.
Just bought his first razor, hopes to use it by Christmas.
And there is our chip leader, Patrick Poirier from upstate New York. We got used to seeing Ben Lamb atop the leaderboard, but now it is Poirier, the new top dog. Daryl Jason second. Incredibly difficult to hold the top spot in this main event, so this running order will change constantly.
6 Americans in the top 8. America is struggling in general. It's good to know we can still play poker.
At the featured table, Daniel Negreanu just holding steady. Not something you want to do on day 3. Finished our Sami Kelopuru toughens up this table.
Aggressive, fearless, dangerous.
There also is Max Henzelmann.
Any 2 cards, any time of day.
He's the man who knocked off Sean Deeb. He's got the biggest stack of the feature table right now. Kelopuru right on his heels. Negreanu with about 55 big blinds. Not time to push the panic button just yet for Daniel. Let's get right to the feature table action on Tim Joseph, an amateur from Los Angeles. Ace-5 of diamonds.
He's a 54-year-old realtor.
56.
And he makes it 5,600. Blinds right now 12 and 2,400, a 300 chip ante.
We started the main event with 6,865 players. First place will pay $8.7 million.
Action on the chip leader at this table, Max Henzelmann in the big blind. And with Queen-9 off, he makes the call.
Calling with Queen-9 out of position. Henzelmann is a one-man, do not try this at home clinic.
Here's the flop. 9, 8, 4, 2 diamonds. Henzelmann with top pair. Joseph with the nut flush draw. Henzelmann checked.
I think Joseph will want to bet his draw or not.
Nope, he does check. All right, to the turn card. Jack of diamonds. Joseph makes his nut flush. Henzelmann now drawing dead.
Yeah, but Henzelmann figures he's got the best hand.
With his 9s and a gut shot, he bets 5,600.
Of course, there's quite a difference between thinking you have the best hand and drawing dead.
And now Joseph.
Wouldn't it be incredible if he looked back down at his cards and it was now 6 deuce offsuit?
I think it's happened to me. He does make the call.
Just a smooth call from Joseph. Henzelmann's been set up nicely for the kill.
River card now. Is a queen, and Max improves. The queen's up, but we know that's no good.
Well, now Henzelmann is on the highway to nowhere.
10,700.
Joseph's slow play pays off, but Joseph hoping he can get paid off more right here.
The Beverly Hills realtor wondering how much more he can get from Henzelmann. There's the raise to 31,000.
And Henzelmann's got to be worried about that river queen. A 10 now would make Joseph a straight.
And Henzelmann with a quick fold. Joseph, the amateur, will take that pot.
Nice hand, brother.
1-1. Yeah!
I've seen him at work.
Finally.
That's the way he reacts after selling a property.
Most patient guy at the table all day.
Thank you. Got to be patient when you're getting cards like I'm getting.
As we hit the midway point of day 3, a few clear storylines have emerged. Daniel Negreanu is trying to end an otherwise miserable World Series with a deep run here in the main event. Ben Lamb is stuck in neutral, and Max Henzelmann, well, his aggressive style, Norman, has gotten him into some tight spots.
Somewhere in the middle of the desert, Sean Deeb is cursing Max Henzelmann. But that's the nature of this main event beast. You have to play well, and you have to hope your pocket aces hold up against ace-6 offsuit. As for Ben Lamb and Kid Poker, the mental game is a real factor. Lamb feels like he can do no wrong, and Negreanu thinks the deck is stacked against him. Tonight, we get to watch these two battle their opponents on very different playing fields.
Over on Daniel's playing field at the feature table, action has been folded to him, and on the Jack Link's beef jerky hole cam, pocket tens. Daniel with a raise to 5,600.
Daniel's pretty patient. He knows the main event is full of mistakes and minefields.
Daniel sitting with about 134,000 right now, folded over to Henzelmann with queen tray of hearts.
Henzelmann doesn't know patience.
In the small blind.
Henzelmann will play queen tray suited like he's Peyton Manning at second down and a yard to go at midfield, and his whole playbook is open.
He must feel like he's been given a second life after that skirmish with Deeb. He raises to 17-1 now to Kelopuru, the Finnish pro.
No, that was a standard Henzelmann 3-bet. Henzelmann thinks Negreanu is raising with nothing, and Kelopuru might think Henzelmann is raising with nothing. I doubt he'd flat call here out of position.
Known better as the feared Lars Luzak online, a re-raise to 43,400 back to Daniel.
Oh, there's the 4-bet. Daniel's got the best hand, Lon, but he's not worried about Henzelmann. He's worried about Kelopuru. And Kelopuru's raise is effectively for Daniel Negreanu's stack.
21-year-old Henzelmann still to act after Daniel. Daniel begrudgingly lays down the tens.
Daniel will wait for a surer spot. Henzelmann's never in a surer spot, it seems.
Max folds. Sami takes it with the 4-bet.
Very likely to have the best hand.
Don't want to put it in with ace-6 anymore?
No.
Worked out last time.
He's looking to see a flop with that guy.
So Kelopuru now the chip leader at this featured table. All right, let's get to an outer table. The second biggest stack in the room is Daryl Jason. Right now he is mixing it up with two others. Jace on the left, Jace with deuces. Billy Paradiso raised all in with pocket kings. Action now on Don Wynn, who's holding pocket queens.
Obviously only two hands beat Wynn right now, but he's looking at some pretty big action in front of him. Don, one of 15 wins, who started day 3, the most popular name left in the main event.
And he looks like he's given up the queens. He does. And a snap call from Jace with deuces.
Boy, one smart fold, one not a smart call. And I can't believe how quickly Daryl Jace called that. It was for 1/3 of his remaining stack, and at best he was going to be in a race.
Paradiso in great shape to double, but there's a deuce in the window, and Jace makes the deuces sing.
Or the 23-year-old Paradiso from Holiday, Florida, about to go on holiday from the main event.
He is reeling after seeing that flop. Turn card, no help. So Paradiso one card from elimination. He can't believe it.
Jace accumulated a big stack, maybe by catching cards like this. Paradiso's pretty savvy. He's texting ahead for a cab. He's got to have a king.
The river card, the ace of spades, and the deuces knock out the kings.
Oh!
No time for a handshake, and Kara Scott better run to try to catch him.
So Paradiso hitting the exits quickly. Daryl Jace cashed in the 09 main event, and while he's still quite a ways from repeating that feat, taking the tournament chip lead in that fashion could be a good sign of things to come for this 23-year-old.
The 2011 World Series of Poker is presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. And in part by WSOPacademy.com. Instant online training from world champions is just a click away.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event. One picture still to be added to this 2011 Wall of Champions. There are still players in the pavilion here at the Rio, but the field should shrink enough by day's end to fit the entire field into the Amazon room. The former chip leader, Ben Lamb, has not been able to increase his stack here on day 3 out at the secondary table. Sitting with him at this table is the 1996 main event champion, Huckleberry Seed. Huck has not been able to get anything going, and that is clearly reflected in his chip count. Lamb and Alexander DeBoos run 1-2 at this table, but it's the short stacks who will define the action here.
3 players with 25 big blinds or less at the table. It'll just be wait and see until they want to push.
Folded 2, Ben Lamb. He has ace-jack.
Looks so trusting, plays so tricky. Pot limit Omaha is his best game, but it looks like no limit hold'em might be his second best game.
Ben won his only bracelet in PLO this year. Action folded to the 27-year-old German Alexander DeBoos, now living in Austria. On the button with 8-7 of hearts.
Come on in, the water's fine. DeBoos and Lamb have been at it all day.
He does make the call. In the small blind, Andrew Broussard with pocket kings just calls.
He slow played pocket aces earlier on day 3. That didn't work. He'll try it again here with pocket kings.
The big blind folded, so 3 players will see this flop. 9 trade jack. Broussard still ahead with the kings. And he checks. Now to Ben Lamb with a pair of jacks.
No reason for Lamb not to like top pair, top kicker.
And Lamb does bet 9,500. DeBoos picked up a gut shot straight draw, and he will get out of the way. Now, Broussard with the kings. Looks like he's going to raise it up. He does to 20,600.
Broussard announces himself with that check raise. It's not a big check raise, and Lamb might put him on a straight draw.
Lamb makes a call for just over 11,000 more. We're heads up to the turn. 4 of clubs, no help to Ben Lamb.
This one's working out nicely for Broussard.
Broussard, 27-year-old from Vegas with a bet of 26-6.
Again, not a real big bet, Lon, less than half the pot. But Ben's got to wonder why Broussard doesn't want a free card, particularly if you were on a draw.
Ben makes the call with top pair, which we know is second best. River card, queen of diamonds. Broussard's kings hold up. Chips in hand. And that is 39-6.
Another small bet. But that bet and that river card have got to worry Ben Lamb. Even if he had Broussard on a draw, Broussard might have had, say, queen 10 and now made a pair of queens on the river.
Ben Lamb mucks his hand, and Broussard's kings will win that pot.
So this time Broussard's big pocket pair does hold up.
Yeah, a smaller card on the river may have gotten more of Lamb's chips into Broussard's stack, but he's happy to have anything come his way at this point. All right, let's go to one of the outer tables and pick up the action there. Todd Brunson just shoved his last 46-4 into the middle with flush and straight draws and was called by Sasha Stancic and his pocket aces.
It'll be pretty much a race for the rest of Todd Brunson's chips.
Dad Doyle Brunson was knocked out of this main event on day 1. Todd has 3 main event cashes. Looking for help. The turn card brings it, a flush for Todd Brunson, and he has his opponent drawing dead, so Brunson will double up.
Brunson real comfortable now with nearly 158,000 chips.
Can I swear on TV?
I tell you, that Todd Brunson runs lucky, does he not? Actually, Todd usually runs it rough in tournaments, it seems. His father's the lucky one.
Yeah. As we head back to the featured table, let's get some insight from Sami Kelopuru on the benefits of having a big stack at the main event.
If you have the biggest stack on the table, you cannot bust. In that point, you can take flips against the smaller stacks. You can put them in a bad spot because they can bust out and you cannot. So you can play more hands and you can gamble a little bit. It's not that bad at that point. You can put the pressure on the smaller stacks. That's important.
When I cashed earlier at this World Series, Lon, I had the big stack, and the little stacks were running for cover.
What a golden moment that was. And now it's time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand. We'll see if you can have another golden moment here as Kelopuru has the wildcard hand and a raise to 5,500.
I'll put Kelopuru on ace-king for kicks.
Amateur Paul Petralia, a corporate jet pilot with ace-jack.
Playing his first World Series.
He makes the call.
If I weren't talking about poker on TV for a living, Lon, I'd probably be a jet pilot.
Wouldn't that be fun? Joseph folds his button. Christy gazes in the small blind with 9-8 of hearts.
She's a poker pro and now an options trader. I couldn't do that. Too many options.
She likes her suited connectors and makes the call. Daniel with Jack 10 in the big blind.
He can't resist a bargain. Heck, he got that jacket on sale at an Army surplus store.
Daniel's not suited, but he makes the call. 4 players will see the flop, including the wild card hand. Queen, ace, 6. Christy gazes, misses. Daniel Nergreanu with a Broadway draw. They both check to the razor.
Kelopuru will make a continuation bet. And of course, I think he would continue to bet here anyway with ace-king.
12,800.
Smells like ace-king.
Tralia with top pair. Calls for 12-8. Gazes, lays it down, as does Daniel, so heads up to the turn.
This is easy, Lon. Kelopuru is either ahead or behind right now.
Nice. 7 of spades on the turn.
The 7 of spades is like a coaster at a dive bar. It has no real purpose.
Kelopuru checks this time.
If he's slowing down now, he doesn't have ace-king.
Tralia bets with the aces, 20,000.
Okay, I don't like it.
What do you think now?
He's got to have A or B, pocket kings or aces with a so-so kicker. I'm going to have to jump ship and change my guess to A or B.
Sami, a.k.a. Lars Luzak, makes the call. River card, 10 of hearts.
Your guess is as good as mine, Lon. Probably better.
He bet the flop, check the turn.
How much do you have? Is that 30 or 35?
32.5.
How much do you have? Have I guessed D yet?
Not yet. And that would put Petralia all in.
I wouldn't want to be in Paul Petralia's shoes right now. He's left with top pair for all of his chips, and I have no idea what Kelopuru has.
He makes the call all in. Oh, and a straight. He had 9-8.
I nailed it, no?
No.
Nice hand. Nice hand.
Yeah, 10 high straight is a nice hand.
All right, good playing with everybody.
Well, Kelopuru talked about picking on the smaller stack, but right there he needed runner to win that one.
And he does win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. The big stack at this table gets even stronger. He is known as a feared online player. He's doing it live as well.
How much do you have?
A moment ago, Sami Kelopuru rivered a straight to increase his stack as he becomes a bigger threat at this main event.
Nice hand. Nice hand.
On his way out, you heard Petralia give Kelopuru a courtesy nice hand, which made us wonder what exactly does nice hand mean at the poker table.
Nice hand has a ton of different meanings. It can mean something good.
You can respect and admire, another poker player that's able to win a sizable pot.
If they say, oh, nice hand, then they're probably being sincere.
When you're winning a pot. When I say nice hand, I genuinely mean it. But a lot of people, when they say nice hand, it means something very different.
It can mean something bad.
You played it badly.
You played it bad.
Keep that up, because I'm waiting.
They beat me in some way.
Nice hand.
It can mean something in between.
Someone has a better hand than me, and I got caught bluffing, and I want to kind of sound like I had something.
They've rivered somebody, and they're just trying to be a good sport.
Depends who's saying it. Depends on how they say it.
You got a good hand. You may not have played it well, but you won the pot. And you're just saying nice hand.
Nice hand usually means you got lucky on me, don't do it again, or I will fry an egg on your forehead.
Even with so many players remaining, Frenchman Guillaume Darcourt stands out with his pink hair and huge stack. He leads here with pocket sevens, post-flop against the Broadway draw of Jared Jaffe, 15,000 to Jaffe.
Dyed hair is the new black, Lon. First Henzelmann, now Darcourt.
Jaffe makes the call.
Every other person at this table has an iPod or an iPad. Is this the main event or an IT expo?
The expo's down the road here in Vegas. Turn card another tray. Guillaume with 2 pair now, and he bets 28,000.
Darcourt knows the tray on the turn never really changes a thing.
And Jaffe gives it up.
So the iPad beats the iPod. That's pretty much the big stack beating up on the small stack.
Even with that small win right there, Guillaume Darcourt is currently the overall leader here at the 2011 main event. Back at the feature table, day 3 has so far not been the kind of day Daniel Nergreanu was hoping for, up marginally to this point. Action on Henzelmann, he lays it down. Now to the table leader, Sami Kelopuru, he gives it up. Fold it over to Tim Joseph, our amateur Beverly Hills realtor with 10-8 of clubs.
10-8, that's a bad hand in 2 games, poker and blackjack.
But he does raise with it to 5,600. Fold, fold, fold to Norson Saho in the big blind with pocket jacks. He's from Brazil.
He attended Anhembi Morumbi University in Sao Paulo. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
He raises to 14,000, Thundering Herd.
Jack looks like a good hand in poker, but it's really a better hand in blackjack. But you don't split 10s in blackjack, Lon, do you?
Never, never. Joseph calls for 8,400 more. Heads up between 2 players who started with just 98,000. The flop 10, tray 10. Joseph with trip 10s. Jacks up, no good for Saho.
But Saho is comfortable with jacks up.
And he does bet 12,200. Joseph, who has Saho slightly covered, makes the call.
Joseph following his blueprint from before when he simply smooth called with an ace-high flush on the turn.
9 of spades is no help to Saho, but he seems unconcerned about that. And he bets 16,300.
Saho still thinks he's best, I believe. Joseph's call on the flop did not deter him.
I'm all in.
And Joseph raises Saho all in.
Well, if Saho was betting for information here on the turn, he just got it. The amateur is screaming to him, "I've got a monster."
Will Saho hear him? Joseph looks like he's doing a little dance under the poker table. Saho calls for his tournament life with just a 5% chance to stick around.
Saho is shocked to see trip tens.
So Joseph sitting very pretty after a tremendous flop. Saho with 1 card left in his main event, perhaps.
Saho called all in, and now the Brazilian pro has to have a 2-outer to stick around. He needs a jack.
River cards a 6. Saho's done.
That's fine. Good hand,
This is almost as good as commission on a Beverly Hills house.
Tim Joseph doubles his stack with that knockout. Saho will head for the exits.
I thought he had something right around that.
So Tim Joseph with almost 200,000 chips now beginning to gain some confidence at this main event. But Joe Navarro might have some tips for how he carries himself at the poker table.
Notice Tim's body language, sitting very high, very confident, chin high. Norson misses this, but the most important thing he misses is the second clue, and it has to do with Tim's feet. Watch here. We're going to see his feet are jiggling, and what that means is he's got happy feet. He feels very confident, he's elated, he's got a great hand, and Norson just completely misses this cue.
Heck, I would have missed it too unless I was sitting under the table or giving Joseph a shoe shine at the time. How are you supposed to know he's tapping his feet when you're half a table away?
Back of the outer tables, Patrick Antonius trying to knock out 24-year-old Josh Hillock of Florida standing on the left. He holds pocket tens. Patrick with ace-jack. The flop is no ace, no jack. Hillock still good.
Is it my imagination, or does Patrick look particularly good today?
Turn card another 6.
I have a full house.
Yeah, you do, but you don't want quads. River card 7 of clubs, and Hillock will survive with that full boat.
100,000 chips now for Hillock back in action. Antoni is so feared at nosebleed online games, but just another tournament grinder in these parts.
Patrick gave up about 25% of his chips there.
I think Patrick was a little late with a nice hand there.
Nice hand from the loser and the winner. Every hand, though, at the main event is a nice hand for someone.
That's fine. Good hand, bro.
Nice hand, bro. Nice hand.
Back at the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. The main event bracelet is front and center. Over at the secondary table on the left, Alexander DeBoost with queens. Just 6-bet Andrew Broussard with jacks pre-flop.
I'm all in.
And Broussard 7 bets all in.
I call.
And a call from DeBoost and the queens.
Aces and kings, I'm guessing.
After some back and forth on the feature
Pocket jacks, Lon. You can't win with them. You can't muck them. Broussard's in dire straits.
DeBoost and his queens locked and loaded to knock Andrew Broussard out of this tournament. And there's a queen in the flop. That's not good for pocket jacks.
The pocket jacks now a 19-1 underdog. Two 27-year-old pros. DeBoost has Broussard nailed. Broussard, to his credit, doesn't look like he's going anywhere. He needs runner.
It's another 7, and that ends it. DeBoost turns a boat. Broussard is gone.
Good game.
DeBoost going with good game, the winner's version of nice hand. And the Las Vegas pro has a short commute back home.
DeBoost now with almost 600,000 is the leader at this secondary table. To the outer table now of Las Vegas pro Kevin Saul, one of the biggest stacks with 662,000. His tablemate Ara Malikian has the action and ace-king of spades, and a raise to 5,300.
Malikian, a 28-year-old poker pro from New York City.
Fold it over now to Amanda Musumeci, pocket tens.
A 26-year-old pro from Philadelphia, a couple of cashes at this World Series. The sleeves of that sweater, I believe, are designed to hypnotize opponents.
She makes a call for 5,300. And now over to Kevin Saul with 6-5 off in the big blind, and he'll come along.
A tough player. He's in the mood to rock and roll with 6-5 off.
He's known as below above online. 3 players see the flop of 9-7 jack. Saul with a gut shot that's no good. Checks. Malikian checks. Now Musumeci with the tens and a draw to a higher straight than Saul. And she bets 9,200. Kevin Saul now with a raise to 27-8. Malikian folds.
Wow, I like that check raise. He's telling Amanda, I've got the best hand, but he's bluffing, and she's not buying it.
And she does make the call. So heads up to the turn, a tray, and that gives Saul a straight draw he can work with, but he checks. Musumeci checks behind. Another jack. Kevin Saul dead in the water, except for his aggression.
He'll try it again.
47-7.
But if he's repping trip jacks here, don't know why he would have checked top pair on the turn.
Amanda makes the call, and Saul will show his busted straight draw.
I like the way he turned over the 6-5. Here's my squadouche. Deal with it.
Amanda shows her winning hand, and she will take that pot.
Musumeci sees through the ruse, and once again, a woman puts a man in his place.
She's up to 360,000. More than 1,300 players still in action. Guillaume Darcourt approaching 1 million leads the way. It's been a good day for Eric Lindgren.
He ended day one with 6,500 chips, so that's pretty impressive.
Marriage must agree with him. 2010 November Niner, the last remaining in this field. Joe Chung also up for the day.
He's only got to get through 1,300 more people to make back-to-back November 9s.
Patrick Poirier told us he set a day 3 goal of 350,000. Well, he's done that and more.
All right, brother, at least take him to the last table.
And it looks like Jason Alexander's gone.
You know, Kramer had a gambling problem, but he would have been proud of George right here.
All right, let's get back to our feature table. Action is on Tim Joseph. Oh, a wardrobe change for the realtor.
It's a tell that he has terrible taste in baseball teams.
With ace-king off.
Hey, I'm a Pirates fan, but it's been a miserable 18 years.
A raise to 5,600. Fold it over to Henzelmann with queen 10 of spades.
Something tells me Henzelmann is a fan of Cirque du Soleil.
He makes the call. Kelopuru now, top stack at this table on the button, 7-5 of hearts. He calls as well. And the 2 blinds lay it down, and so 3 players will see the flop.
I do like the jacket.
Jack, king 4, Joseph, top pair with the best kicker. And he's going to bet it. 12,200. Henzelmann with an up and down straight draw.
12-2.
And he makes the call. Sami missed and says, I'm done.
Top pair, top kicker versus the man with a draw and a betting disorder.
Heads up to the turn. 7 of diamonds. Joseph's hand is still good. This time he checks.
Henzelmann could take a free card, but I believe he must bluff at a pot twice per hour to stay in the Bluffmen's Union.
He got no help on the turn. He has chips in hand, and there it is, 25,700.
How much? 25-7.
He just looks like he never has a hand.
I wonder if Joseph has happy feet right now. And with the pair of kings, he raises to 51,400.
Boy, I didn't expect that. Henzelmann's got nothing, but he is capable of raising Joseph all in here.
Henzelmann on the draw. Needs almost 26,000 more to call, and that's what he does.
He disappointed me there. He just looks like he has nothing.
River card is 6 of clubs, no help to max. Joseph sitting pretty. A tiny bet of 30,000.
Joseph keeps control of this hand, but I'm telling you, Henzelmann still might raise him with nothing.
We have seen Henzelmann do that before, but he would need a master bluff to push Joseph off his hand.
Do it. Do it! It would make my day. I think he's waited too long to raise here.
And Henzelmann does lay it down, and Tim Joseph will take another pot at this featured table. Joseph enjoying his time under the bright lights on the biggest stage.
Wasn't laying that one down.
And he puts another ding in Max Henzelmann's chip stack. From far away, the lights of the Las Vegas Strip beckon all to come and play. Inside the Amazon room, Daniel Nergreanu holding a center court and trying to make a run, which is about par for the course.
Oh, that felt good. Daniel Nergreanu, 37 years old, Las Vegas, Nevada. When I got addicted to golf, I felt like I have room for this, I want this, I can afford this, let's do this. Oh, that was good. The mental aspect of poker and golf are very similar. I mean, in poker, sometimes you get your aces beat, and the question is, what do you do then? You go on tilt, you start steaming and lamenting your bad luck, and with golf, you're gonna hit bad shots. The key to both is being able to like reset your mind. So for me, learning how to do it at the golf course makes poker even easier. You can't teach personality. The core group of players today have the same story. You know, they're very good, but they don't necessarily translate to the mainstream audience as well in terms of like, ooh, I really want to root for that guy, because people with the hoodie and the glasses and the same sort of robotic moves, it's basically all the same person. People were starting to wonder, hey, you know, can Nergreanu still play? Can he still compete with these young guys? And I'm like, when I started hearing that, that's an alarm bell going off in my head saying, well, you know what, you better work on your game. That's how you do it. Huh.
Daniel has retooled his poker game, doing a lot of work online, but I'll be honest with you, he can install sand traps in his bedroom and he'll never get his golf game up to par.
On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, Mike Zolker with pocket nines.
A 25-year-old Las Vegas pro. He says the players he most respects are Nergreanu, Barry Greenstein, and Phil Ivey. Nergreanu, of course, is at this table. Phil Ivey, of course, did not even play the main event this year.
Yeah, right, Norman. While it had nothing to do with the World Series, Ivey said in the wake of the U.S. online poker ban, he did not want to play while online player accounts were frozen.
And even though he didn't play here, Lon, I still picked Ivey to win the main event this year. He's that good.
Zolker made a raise to 5,200, folded to Tim Joseph on the button with King Jack.
I tell you, it's hard to play King Jack on the button in a Pirates jersey.
Joseph finally does lay it down. Christy Gaze is now in the small blind with Jack 5 into the muck. Daniel Nergreanu in the big blind with two aces. Hello there.
Daniel eyeing his prey.
Zolker, the original raiser, with two nines, and now Daniel with the two aces. A re-raise to 17,000.
And now Zolker eyeing his new nemesis. Ooh, a little back and forth.
Zolker relishing this with one of his poker heroes, makes the call.
Zolker's got position on the guy he respects, but the guy he respects has pocket aces.
Nines against the aces, heads up to the flop. And there is an ace, a set for Daniel. How will the four-time bracelet winner play it? He checks.
A sneaky check by Kid Poker. Might get him value later on.
Zolker, who made a World Series final table in '09, checks as well. Turn card 10 of clubs. Zolker now drawing dead.
Nergreanu couldn't get Zolker to bite on the flop, so he'll have to do his own bidding here.
Daniel puts out 19,800.
Zolker could be thinking Daniel is just on a draw, so the pocket nines might be good.
I guess that's what he thinks. He made the call. Daniel eyeing Zolker's chip stack. He started the hand with just over 73,000, did Zolker. River card 5 of hearts.
Almost as safe a card as you could find if you have a set of aces.
Daniel has Zolker well covered, and now bets enough to put Zolker all in.
Lon, I don't know if Zolker wants to stake his main event on a pair of nines. If he folds here, he'd be left with just 15 big blinds.
I call.
Zolker does call all in, and now he can call the valet for his car. Done in by Daniel Nergreanu.
Why? Zolker has got to be asking himself right now.
No, nice.
And Zolker will begrudgingly make his exit from this featured table. Nergreanu up to almost 200,000 now.
Nice game.
Daniel gets two nice hands. Frankly, I prefer if they just said Gesundheit rather than nice hand.
Daniel above chip average now. Over at the secondary table where Ben Lamb is no longer chip leader of the tournament, nor even of his table. That mantle belongs to Alexander DeBoos. Lamb with about half the chips of the tournament leader right now. 1996 world champ Huck Seed, the short stack at this table with just 12 big blinds.
Okay. Let's hope he lays the deuces down again.
And they're all in the middle.
I won't fold them this time. Did you even look at your hand?
Of course I saw my hand.
I called.
Huck put it all in blind.
Of course I saw my hand.
We have it
You
all
didn't-
in
you didn't look, right?
feature table. Huck Seed has moved all in from the
You
small
look?
blind.
You look.
He has the
I
10
didn't
of
look.
spades and the 4 of clubs.
You saw I didn't look.
Ben is called. He has the
I didn't see that behind her.
Huck will be at risk here. He has fewer chips.
I'm not at risk. I got 10-4.
I already told him I was going to double him up today.
I can't blame you for calling with an ace-7. I mean.
Here's the flop. 8 tray 8. Ben still ahead with his ace.
Huck, 28 years old when he won the main event. He also final tabled the main event in 1999.
29. What was your minimum to call there?
I saw the ace. I was pretty sure I was going to call.
And that pairs Huck. He takes the lead.
Huck has made a pair of 10s.
No, it's not over yet.
It would only be over for Huck Seed if an ace hits the river.
The river sees a 9 of spades, and Huck Seed will double up to almost 61,000.
Hey, don't touch my chip. Give her a penalty. She's touching my chips. See, if I would have got a penalty, I never would have got to play that 10-4 offsuit.
Sometimes it pays not to know your cards.
Huck having fun with the dealer.
See, I was so scared that I'm going to flip it up. I didn't even look, you know? I didn't look because of you. And I won, so I give you a chip.
He is entertaining in his own way. Vive la France was the chant at the Rio as Frenchmen won back-to-back bracelets. Bertrand Elke-Grospellier completed poker's triple crown by winning his first bracelet in the 10K Stud Championship. And in the $1,500 pot limit Omaha event, amateur Elie Payon from Orléans, France, continued the national tradition, taking home nearly $300 grand for his victory.
Je m'appelle Elie Payan et j'ai gagné mon premier bracelet de WSOP.
A look at bracelets won by players' nationality confirms the international flair of the World Series. The U.S. with 35, Canada won 5, though none from Kid Poker, who spoke with Kara Scott earlier about his new table.
Thanks for giving us a couple of minutes, Daniel. Your table has changed a lot since this morning. Give us your thoughts on it now.
Well, I mean, it's completely changed now that Adam Junglin's here as well as another tough player. But Adam and I, we're both instructors at the same poker VT, so he thinks like I do. We know how we play, so I'm not as worried about him as I am Lars Luzak and Massimiliano, who are really aggressive and wild on my left. But so far, I feel like I've got the best of them, and I feel like I've picked up a few things. So I feel really good about my chip count and the situation right now.
Daniel's chip count up over 231,000 right now. Kelopuru still the table leader. And as Daniel mentioned, his friend Adam Junglin has joined the table.
With a lot of chips.
23-year-old from Stowe, Ohio. Action on Christy Gazes has pocket jacks.
She's primarily a cash game player. She had a long-time rule. She would not move up to a higher limit unless she had 3 consecutive winning sessions.
A raise to 6,100 with the jacks. Folded over to Max Henzelmann with ace-9 off.
I think Henzelmann has a rule. He must play at least 3 consecutive hands.
He makes the call. Folded around to the big blind. Zach Famey with 2 queens.
The Las Vegas pro told us his favorite hand is 2 red queens. This is not 2 red queens.
I'm all in.
But with a red queen and a black queen, he does move all in.
Chrissy holding the Lon McCarron Memorial hand. She seems to sense imminent danger.
I call.
But she does make the call to put Famey at risk. Henzelmann drops out, so heads up. Famey trying to double up through Christy Gazes.
I think Christy had to call there for half her stack. And like Sami Kelopuru said earlier, in those spots, you just want to make sure you have a stack that well covers the other player.
Here's the flop and a queen in the window, a set for Famey. Gazes all but done in this hand.
1% is not good, and that little less than symbol in front of the 1% is worse.
Turn card, the 6 of diamonds. That ends the drama. Gazes drawing dead. Famey will double to almost 142,000.
Alon, my new project is that I'm going to wander card rooms throughout the land and keep a record of how many times Pocket Jacks actually wins a pot.
You just need a Post-it note to keep track. Gazes loses more than half her stack right there. She's left with about 25 big blinds. Over now to 11-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth. With Queen Jack, Phil will see a flop with two others. Graham Ladd with Ace Queen of Spades, and Gary Gates with 6 tray, almost 25,000 in the pot. Here's the flop. 7-4 tray. Gates with the best hand with a pair of trays. He checked. Phil checks way behind. Ladd favored with 2 overs and the nut flush draw.
Ladd, a 41-year-old Brit.
Bets 22,000. Gates folds.
That's what I love about poker. I fold 16 hands in a row, and I still got called by 3 people.
Phil folds.
What I ever in a pot with.
Phil told us earlier on day 3, I know how to fold and I know how to call. I still don't think he knows how to fold without comment.
Phil alerting the table that when he's in the hand, everyone should expect him to be holding the nuts. This is a tough town when the all-time World Series bracelet winner gets so little respect.
The 2011 World Series of Poker is presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. And in part by the official WSOP game on Facebook. Play online now. For details, go to facebook.com/WSOP.
Back at the Rio at an outer table, Eric Lindgren, who took some hits recently, just put his last 55,000 plus in the middle after turning trays full. He's in great shape. Russell Thomas in the red is drawing dead. He's next to act. George Rami also in the hand would need to call and complete a royal flush to knock out E-Dog. Thomas putting chips together as though he wants to call, and he does. So Lindgren officially at risk. Rami now in the hat makes the call as well.
This is Mardi Gras for Eric Lindgren, a 95% favorite to triple up.
The river card now is a 6. Lindgren guaranteed to triple up. Thomas puts Rami all in. He folds, and now Thomas will get the bad news.
I hope you don't have a boat. I do. Do you really? Oh, it's amazing. No,
E-Dog with some barking chips now.
Almost 314,000 for Lindgren.
A sigh of relief, and now a lot of breathing room for Eric Lindgren.
Eric right now with almost double the chip average with fewer than 1,300 players remaining here on day 3 of the big one. Daryl Jace, the current chip leader with nearly 1 million chips.
Fewer than 1,300 remaining. As you mentioned, 693 of them will finish in the money.
Back at this featured table under the gun, Zach Famey with King 10 off raised to 5,400.
You got to play for an awful long while before you cash here at the main event. What a grind it is.
Action on Adam Junglin, 10-8 off. He gives it up. Now to Max Henzelmann on the button, 8-6 of hearts. Yeah, he'll play.
8-6 suited for Henzelmann on his graded poker hand scale line. That's like pocket queens.
Kelopuru with ace-king in the small blind, raised it to 18-7. And now Famey will get out of the way. Back to Henzelmann with the 8-6 suited. And, of course, he makes the call.
Well, you got to give Henzelmann some props, Lon. Everyone else is playing premium hands, and he's playing discards from the dumpster. And he's only a 3-2 dog here. If you told him that, he'd take it.
The flop is 9. Ace, Jack, no hearts. Kelopuru with top pair.
See, Kelopuru, only 24, but he can bet and chew gum at the same time. I'm still working on that.
That's amazing. 21,600 in the max. Max folds quickly, and that is Sami's day in a nutshell right there.
Kelopuru keeps chipping up.
He's over 440,000 now, very confident and in control of his table mates. Back now to the secondary table. Huck's seat is under the gun. Huck looks down at 2 red queens. And a raise to 5,300. Over to Marvin Peltola on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam, ace-8 of hearts.
The concrete contractor from Renton, Washington in his first main event.
The amateur makes the call.
That's the great thing about the main event, Lon. One day you're schlepping bricks to a work site. The next day you're in a hand against a world champ.
And folded around to Joe Ealer. Ealer in the small blind with Jack 9. And this amateur will not play. And the big blind, Michael Ruby, folds King 5. So heads up, Peltola and Huck.
You got more than me, Huck? We're about even, aren't we? Pretty close, you think?
Peltola has Huck covered by only about 5,000. The flop is Jack 10-5, 2 hearts. Huck Seed still ahead. Peltola with a flush draw. Huck bet 6,000.
Small bet by Seed. Seems begging for a raise.
And Peltola looks like he's going to do just that as he raises Huck Seed all in. And Huck calls all in with the queens.
Huck with a lot of cards to fade here. He had the one small double up earlier. Now this one would get him healthy.
I'm blocking one heart.
Peltola with a chance to knock off a former world champ.
All right, not even, I thought you had. You see how good I read. If I'm going to call with ace-8, I guess I got to play.
Hey, that's the flop you're looking for there.
Turn card now, and that's the card he was looking for. Peltola's flush signals the end of the main event for Huckleberry Seed.
That was quick, if not painless, and the 96 champ is gone.
That leaves just 3 past champs in this main event. Peltola up to 130,000 offers a hand of condolence to Seed.
Pulled 16 hands in a row, and I still got called by 3 people.
As day 3 neared its conclusion, we saw plenty of nice hands.
Nice hand, brother.
Nice hand.
Nice hand. Nice hand. Nice hand.
Henzelmann dropped while Nergreanu rose.
I call.
Ben Lamb came down to earth. New chip leaders emerged. You can never get too comfortable at the main event.